Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Tina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And always, we can't talk about yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea. And today this is black tea infused with strawberry. And why strawberry? Because it's spring. It's such a gorgeous sunny weather outside. I'm even in sort of semi-short sleeves and it really makes me happy. It's such a gorgeous weather this week, and I did spend some time outdoors, but I've also been crocheting a bit, and I've done plenty of other things since the last yarn talk video, which is 2 weeks ago, because I were in Denmark, visiting my family, helping out where I could. I will come with an update as for what I know regarding my mom towards the end of this video, at least at the time of recording to what I know. But I think it's much more fun to talk about yarn, and that is why most of you are here. I finished a project. I got a gift with me home, and I'm definitely also working on other projects. So the project I finished isn't even crochet. I had a refreshing course of my knitting when I was home. I actually kind of asked for it because I do know how to knit, but it's like so far away. So I need to kind of like get a reminder of how to actually do it. And that resulted in a beanie. I had brought the yarns with me to Denmark to make the beanie, and ta-ta! I knit a beanie. And I kind of like how the curring has pooled on this hat. Absolutely, totally coincidental. It is a 2-row knit, 2-row purl beanie, reasonably simple. I did it on a 5mm needles, circling needles. I also had my challenges, and honestly, this is gonna sound crazy to some of you guys, I do crochet quicker than I knit. So it did really challenge me as who I am, because I do kind of like the speediness of it. It can fit me, though it's slightly tight, but it's not too tight. So it's more like a medium to large, but it can also go on small because it is like very stretchy, as you can see, due to this way of doing it. It's knitted from upside down. On the top, it's just a couple of rows where you kind of knit it all together so it kind of collects. I'm not going to take it on because I have stuff in my hair, so it's not going to be very good to do that. But I will say it is just actually quite, and here you can see the color pooling as well being quite funny, to be honest. It's 12 inches long. I made sure it was 12 inches, which is about 30 centimeters for those who are using metric terms like me. And then that's when I started closing, and the closing rounds is like 2 or 3 rounds, so you know, very little. So overall, I'm quite happy with the end result of this, and obviously it fits so nicely. So I am gonna, put it back on our friend's head here. I can definitely use a little bit practice, but it's not bad. Like, it's not bad at all. The yarn I used is this Papatia Joyful. Let's see if I can actually just put it there for a minute. And this is the yarn I have left. Ta-ta. Here is about 30-ish grams left. I started with 100, so probably like an ounce left. That's not enough to make a new one. So I've been struggling with a few options. Of course, I could buy more yarn to knit more of them. But I'll still not have enough. Like if I just buy one more skein, I will just about not have enough to make an extra, unless I don't option for the double-edged version. So that could be an option, but I could also option to combine this with another yarn, which then could add a bit of coloration. You could like probably do both white, greens, grays, I'm not sure, but white and blacks for sure, or sort of green or something like that, similar thickness, just like I did with the black ones when I had that left over. It means though, because I still have so much left on the skein, it's not used up, which is I finished a project, but it's not really helpful on my decrease my stash because it's still kinda in my stash. But I believe that what I'm gonna do with this is probably might end up using it for adding some coloration to a crochet project. That seems like an obvious choice without defining that 100%. But I really like how our friend turned out. And the pattern I got is a pattern that you can adapt to several different sizes needles. So it kind of depends on the yarn you have. I do want to try to maybe double up some yarns to use some thicker needles to kind of make a project go faster, because I don't think it's the last hat I've knitted, at least not for now. And I did inherit some knitting needles. In fact, I got them as a thank you for some of the items that I've also been donating to the charity, and they have had these knitting needles donated. And as my mom says, they may be a cheaper type, and I think they might be some Timo needles or whatever. But it's a good collection of circular interchangeable needles, and my mom just has better quality needles, so she doesn't need them. So I was gifted them. They come in this nice pink pouch, not that I'm into pink. This is what we're looking at. The end stoppers and tools to do the interchangeable or extend. The chains, and we go from a 2mm, 3mm, 4mm, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.5, 11, 13, and 15. So until I figure out if knitting might be something for me or not, I say I was sometimes quite challenged with this, mainly my patience. Then I'm gonna use these, and then I can always buy better quality ones if I really feel like this is me. But I don't know yet, and as long as I don't know, I'm just happy with a set like this. There is anything that I basically could knit, especially to make hats. And I do have yarns for that idea. I have some scrap yarns in my stash, which I'm thinking I could probably make some hats with, because I have no other direct plans for this yarn. But henceforth it is in my stash. Actually, some of them in my scrap basket, and I kind of want to get them used. Also, when I went to Denmark, I got some socks. My mom has been making socks for me. I'm not 100% sure if it's my birthday present. It could be. I asked her this autumn if she was keen on trying to knit me a pair of socks. I had seen some absolutely gorgeous anklet socks, which is on Hobby's website. They are called a Rosemerino eyelet anklet socks. And they fit. She did miss finishing up the toes, because she wanted to make sure that it was a good fit for me before she wrapped them up completely. Also because it's a pattern she hasn't used before on different needles, size-wise, etc. But I really like the yarn. It's a nice, bluish gray, definitely anklet, and it has a gorgeous pattern on top of the foot. So yeah, I got socks, and they have a nice fit, definitely. Except you can't really see it because this is not my foot, but just to give you an easy feeling. And obviously I have two of them. So I'm very grateful for these. Gotta treasure everything you have. And these, my friends, are really gonna be nice for the winter because there are wool in them. So it's not like they're summer friendly, but it's definitely if you need a couple of warm feet or whatnot. And usually this is what I just walk around in at home. I like a good pair of knitted socks. I even have some socks, knitted socks, that I bring with me when I go away and so on. Because sometimes, especially in the winter in hotels, I have cold feet. I take on those socks for sleeping. My alpaca socks are great for that, actually. but super happy with these. I can't speak as how they were knit because I didn't do it. I do know it was challenging for my mum, who's a quite good knitter. And based on what she said, I don't think she's gonna be repeating this, though it is a nice looking pair. So if you're up for a knitting challenge, the Rose Merino socks from Hobby on Hobby's website might be a good challenge for you. If you want, I shall, just to make sure, I'll link to that in the description box somewhere down below if you want a quick link to see those socks. Yeah. It's still a little bit warm, but we're getting to the level of it's being drinkable. So I haven't really had time to work on the Fleur since last time. And a part of this is simply due to there has been going on a lot of things. And I am also currently busy with a lot of things, much more on that later. There will also be a whole video about it, I'm sure. Have to. But Fleur is my own little hobby project for Mosiac blanket. It's designed by Anke Wintermans. She's a Dutch designer. She's made lots of Mosiac blanket designs. You can find her on Ravelry. Super gorgeous. I'm using Stylecraft DK. I do wind it up on my cake winder, the yarns, because it makes it easier to work, because I can put those yarns on my yarn spindle. And then I'll just, like use them on the yarn spindle. So that's my two working colors right now, which is a plum and a cream white. And let's see how much we can actually show. This is just like, I folded it together. So this is the square of it. As I said, I had no progress since last time. I need to start working a row of a cream, and then we will see. I believe there's about another 8 to 10 rows I need to work before I need to change color to Emperor. Emperor is a quite dark purple. Let me just find it, because I have it laying right here. Here we have it. Ta-ta. I think it's a gorgeous purple though. And to compare, this is Plum, so Plum goes into Emperor, and Emperor will then eventually head into the blues. Stylecraft Special DK is 100% premium acrylic yarn, 100 grams, so 3.5 ounces, to 295 meters of yarn, anti-pilling, can be washed at 30 degrees, can even be tumble dried though at cold. Or ironed, dry cleaned. Recommending 4mm crochet hook, which is also the hook that I'm using to do this project in. So I need to find some time to work on this. I really do need to find some time to work on this. But I think I've had a few other priorities lately. And I had at some stage really a plan that I wanted to work like half an hour on it a day or whatever. But reality is, it takes a bit of room to find the project and start working on it, because it is getting quite big. So I need to sort of coordinate what I have on the table when I start working on this. But I really should get going on it, and use some of that spare time that I have. And the question is how much longer I will have that spare time, because today I have a job interview. I found a job that would fit pretty well. If it's gonna be mine, it's a different story. But it is a part-time job, 100% remote, doing things that I actually did like 10 years ago for another company. So it's not something I'm unfamiliar with. They allow working remote. Given it's a part-time job, it leaves me room to do other things, which I like. But also they have part of the job description that you're allowed to work abroad a couple of weeks a year, which is really good, because I am traveling a lot back and forth to Denmark these days due to the fact that my mom unfortunately is ill. And I'm gonna be open with them in the job interview and say, this is how life is. I am in the Netherlands, but I am traveling reasonably often back and forth due to the situations. But they offer flexibility, which is also something I have to give if I can get it back. So if they're keen on me, and I'm keen on them and we can agree on everything, then I might have a part-time job, which would be amazing. Plus, I can combine a part-time job as well with you guys, because I really do enjoy spending time with you. But the fact is, somebody has to pay for my life. Bills will still come regardless if I'm here or not. So yeah, and on that note, I'm actually also currently working on setting up a web shop for my crochet aspects of life, or makes, crates, handmade items. That takes a bit of time, and I hope it's gonna be a success. I don't know. It's an investment that I have been willing to make, and I'm probably gonna test it out for a year or two, and if it's not successful, well, it's not worse than I can't close it down again and conclude it's not gonna be it. But that's gonna take some of my time as well, and I'm gonna make a complete separate video on that, because we are sort of going to see if I can turn this into a small business. And I think it's a good idea, because if I don't get the part-time job, I still need an income more than what I currently have, and it is a great opportunity to do so. And then I'll probably have some business vlogs to add to this channel in the future. Hope you could be interested in that as well. But so far, right now, I'm just working on all the aspects behind the screens, and that, my friends, is taking quite a bit of my time. I need to do and keep track of that as well next to all this. So let's see, what else do we have going on right now? I have progressed on the CeylonTea Shawl. I did work only on the CeylonTea Shawl during this week's live. I was live on Wednesday for 3.5 hours. We didn't work it on it all 3.5 hours, because the last half an hour we worked on the Ultimate Sacrifice Shawl, and the reason for that is simply because I came to a place where it was a good place to end. Like, I came to the end of the row on the CeylonTea Shawl, and one of the watchers had a question regarding the Ultimate Sacrifice Shawl, to which I hope I helped her. I'm sure she will let me know. And then we are basically gonna have a look at this. I'm not done yet. This is the amount of yarn I have left on the cake. It's about 60 some odd grams, or a little bit more than 2.3 ounces, for those that's curious on that, which means we still have a few rows left. Definitely a few rows left. How many? I don't know, but we will have to see. I know that I'm just gonna see how many rows I can crank in, and it's looking decent. So this is where we are currently at. And I feel that I might be able to do more rows than I think I can, but we will have to see. The next row is, let's see, I have to have them on that side. And I'm working from here. Front post double crochets, a bunch of them. And then, so basically the next row I have to make is this row front post, but obviously all the way out here. And we will have to see how far I get. I kind of hope that I can at least get to this section, or maybe even get to make this slightly broad section once I'm done, but we will have to see. And another thing is, right now this doesn't, well, it is big, because if I take on each end of the shawl, I can just barely hold it up. But it will be a lot bigger once blocked. This is a pattern. It comes to its full right once it's blocked. It's a colorway called Ombre, which is, I do believe, colorway 4, but I'm not 100% sure. It's the Linda Hobby Soft Cake. So I got it from a Linda Hobby. It is 50% acrylic, 50% cotton. 8.8 ounce cake, so that's 250 grams. To 1,000 meters or 1,093 yards. They recommend a 3mm knitting needles. They recommend 3mm crochet hook, though I option to upsize just a little bit, and I'm using a D hook, which is equal to a 3.25mm, and that is because I know that I have a little bit tighter tension, so it allows me to still have a nice drape on it, and that is why I option to hook size up a little bit. My goal is to have this finished for next week's yarn talk video, because I'm that motivated. That is, if all my other things in life permits that. And that, my friends, is the question. It depends on many things, but I will try my best, and I'm really motivated to get this done. Also because the Decrease My Stash is not going too well right now. I'm admitting that. I will need to do something magical this year to actually reach my goal. And I want to do that. I definitely want to do that. And a part of this is to do with, I ended up placing a yarn order because I need to make some bucket hats. For a few reasons for that. I want to make bucket hats because bucket hats are easy to make. They sell well, so I hope they will sell also on my upcoming website. But also I want to make a bucket hat in a neutral color, which is requested by my mom. So I want to make a bucket hat for her. She's not normally a hat wearer, but given the fact that she has lymphoma and is likely going to have a cure of chemo, once they figure out what type of lymphoma she has, she will probably lose her hair for a period. And she needs something to wear. And a bucket hat seems good because it is getting into the summer months. And she does have some allergies to the sun. So she needs something to protect her hair or her head if she's outdoor. So that is what I want to do. So we talked a bit and she sent me some suggestions, and that is what I'm going to be working with for her. You will see that yarn haul within the next 2 weeks probably. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's coming, and I could just order as well a bit extra to get free shipping and stuff like that, and it was on sale, and yeah. Let's just say I have yarns to get quite a few things done, which is good, right? So I also worked on the Ultimate Sacrifice Shawl, and that is also one of the things for that is I brought the Ultimate Sacrifice Shawl with me to Denmark. I'm working with a 3.5mm crochet hook. It is a Rosegarden, a YarnArt cake, so YarnArt Rosegarden. It's a colorway 321, and it is 100% cotton, 1,000 grams, 1,000 meters to 1,093 yards, 8.8 ounces to 250 grams. And this, my friends, is what we have left. And you can see here, we have a really bright white here in the center. Then we have some purples, or pinks, baby pinks that goes into the brighter purples, that goes into a darker purple, and I have the really dark purples here in the center. And I do believe I have a little bit left of some clear white up in my stash, should I be in need to be able to finish like the last row or something like that. So it might be that I have a tiny bit of stuff on my stash that I can take forth and use. I will have to do some yarn math when we get there to see if it's realistic, but right now I still have quite a bit to go. I'm not even halfway through, so we are definitely still have quite a bit of way to go. This is currently how we are looking, and I can just about have it all in the screen. All the way dark purple in the center here. And as you can see, we are getting lighter and lighter. And this, of course, also needs a good block. So right now, what I like about this pattern is we are now at a place in the pattern where it's simple. And that is also one of the reasons that I did bring it with me to Denmark back then, because it's really like, we have the top part, we have the shells that's increasing in size. That's like this section. They keep the same 4 rows, and then in the 5th row, you increase by 1 stitch on each side. You do another 4 rows, you increase by 1 stitch on each side, etc., etc., etc. So that is so easy to remember. Then from this section all the way down and all the way up to the next, it's the same. It's just 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets into the chain space of the previous row. And then every second row here in the tip, I only have the stitch marker in the tip to remind me this is the tip. I can probably easily see it, but it's just convenience, nothing else. And every second row, I have to increase the tip as well. So right now it's such a simple pattern. Like once you are here and did like the counting and coordination of everything, like once you are starting to actually do the shell rows, it's such an easy pattern and it's wonderful and it looks gorgeous. And I'm looking really forward to see the end result of this. Though, as said, the main focus right now would be the CeylonTea Shawl. This shawl I can work on if I'm watching television or doing something else, or if I'm on the go somewhere where I have the opportunity, like being transported somewhere, etc., to work on this, because it is it's easy to bring with me, right? So that is basically what I'm doing. And I'm probably gonna give it a bit more focus once I'm done with the CeylonTea Shawl, just because, again, I like things finished. Usually I don't always work on 2 shawls, but I did intentionally start on this Ultimate Sacrifice because I knew I was going to Denmark and I knew it wouldn't be nice to have a bigger project to work on. And I didn't know how much time I actually had when I were in Denmark to physically work on projects. But I think I'm satisfied with, definitely satisfied with what I've achieved. And no, actually, I started working on it because I knew I was going to Germany on a 6-hour road trip. So I did quite a bit then. And then I decided to bring it with me to Denmark. I put it all in a Ziploc bag, emptied the air out of the Ziploc bag so good as I could. And I packed it into my suitcase on my carry-on. Not my carry-on, sorry, my the one I checked in. I also packed some yarn in on my carry-on, plus a crochet hook, etc. Went well. Take a look at my shot if you want to know what I actually were able to bring through security. I can also tell you, both from Amsterdam to Copenhagen, and from Copenhagen to Amsterdam, none of them asked me to empty my bag to actually have a look at these tools. They were just in my bag that went into the tray that went through the scan, and there was like no question asked. Super simple, super easy. Watch my short on it. If you want to know what I actually brought with me. But it went super easy. It really went super easy, I have to say. And I did start in the airport on designing the bag, but the bottom is not completely turning out as how I wanted it to. So that is why we're not really talking about it. I think I'm just gonna design it and then be like, hey, look, I did it. And then it's gonna be, do you want me to write a pattern for it and make tutorials and, you know, etc. We will have to have a look at that. Idea is, of course, that I can sell my own patterns as well on my web shop once I get that up running. That would be really nice to be able to do as well. And that requires me to crank out a few designs. So that also takes some time because I've been frocking it, because it's not completely worked up as I expected it to. So I just have to think a little bit on how I'm gonna best fixing that challenge that I dumped into. I have an idea, but not sure yet if it's gonna work out. Then we also talked, and I have a project crate made for it, but I haven't started yet. And that is because I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Like, realistically. Project crate. Ta-ta! This is a project crate filled with drops of cotton light. Let's see. It's in the light fuchsia and light lilac. And it is a 2-colorway poncho that you guys wanted me to make. It's called Sweet Martine. It contains some grinding squares, and then it contains a bunch of crochet rows around to kind of collect them. It contains of exactly 8 grinding squares and some work around them. The grinding squares will be made in this light fuchsia. I used already quite a bit this year the cotton light yarn, which is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. It's like a DK weight yarn. They recommend 4mm crochet hook for it. 50 grams, so 1.75 ounces to 105 meters or 115 yards. And this would be the light lilac, and that is gonna create a few rows of stripes after, like in the further down bits, because I only have 3 of these and I have 8 of these. And that should actually be enough to create what I want to create. And I have to get started on that. I just haven't gotten started yet. But I will have to start by making 8 granny squares according to the pattern. Sweet Martine link, Drops Design, free pattern, link to it, description box down below. If you want to use different yarns and drops, I will recommend you to make some swatch tests just to have an idea of the size, because you could risk it turning out much, much bigger than your desired size. So, but yeah, yarns that you would need a 4mm crochet hook for is probably what you need to be looking for. So DK-ish weight yarn is my expectation. Can't talk today. But so the project crate is ready to start. I'm not. I think that's a conclusion here. I'm not ready. The project crate is ready. It's just about me having to sit down and actually do it, and that's fine. I'll be fine with that. Then I also need to consider new projects. And we talked a bit about earlier today that the knitting needles is, I wouldn't say they're come to 100% stable, probably to some extent. Yeah, I have them. But I think it's a good thing to keep being refreshed on what I'm doing. And that's when I looked in my scrap stash. I have some scrap yarns, which I think is more than enough to actually make some hats. And my first idea was to combine 3 yarns together, because then I could make like a really nice bulky yarn combined hat. Use some big needles, would be quickly done, which is a good idea. But I think I may want to actually first do another just normal on my own and see if I succeed there. And if I do that, then I can start multiplying yarns, adding yarns. So the idea was to hold these 3 yarns together. It's the yarn and color's amazing. It's a DK weight yarn, 100% recycled acrylic. And I have it left for from a baby blanket that I made like 2 years ago. And it's just been in my stash looking at me ever since. I originally also had a baby pink, but the baby pink I gave away to another crafter who was needing just a little bit to finish a project. So I thought, yeah, why not? You can have it from me. Now I still have this left and I want to use it on something. And I think, you know, it should be more than enough yarn to finish a hat, especially if I hold it together. I'm not sure what size needles I would have to use. They recommend, I think it's a 4mm needles just for the yarn itself. So we're probably looking like 8 to 10mm needles, something like that. But the question is if I want to hold them all together, if that's clever. I could also option to just go with these 2 together. I think they're nice, awesome colors. And then use this together with another yarn for another project, holding that together. I do believe I have some alpaca yarns in green, and that could work really nice with this. So I might do that. I don't know. Feel free to come with your suggestions, especially if you are knitters. I also looked at this in my stash, which is also a yarn I have left over from a baby blanket. You can see it has a slight shine. This is also like a DK-ish weight, maybe, where's that, 4 weight? It's ice yarns, left over from a baby blanket, bit more than the rest, because while they look similar, it also has more weight to it, and it is a little bit thicker than this. I could also option for that to hold with, or I'll just use this and make a base hat from that. I have the feeling the thickness here is too different, and yet maybe not too bad. So I could also option to do something here. That might actually even also work out. And then use that for crocheting. That's not too far away. I could do that. And here you can see how the green would work with the white. We talked about that earlier. Maybe I should change my plans again. I might have to combine these for crocheting, and then maybe just jump into it and hold these two together for a bit thicker setup for a hat. Would I be able to do that? Second time ever holding two yarns together? I don't know. Let me know. Do you think I can do that? It would be amazing, right? So, yeah. That is pretty much to the end of the yarn bit. And if you're just here for the yarn, I'm absolutely understandable if you want to tune out now. And then I'm going to say thank you for watching. If you haven't done it yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I am here with much more yarn content, crochet, and apparently a little bit of knitting. And I'll be back next week with more. Definitely. And if you want to know a bit more about how it's going with my mom, stay and watch. So take care and happy crafting. And I'm gonna say bye twice, but goodbye to you if you don't want to watch the update. So the update on my mom is that the doctors yet do not know what type of lymphoma she has. They have changed it from lung cancer to lymphoma, which is a good thing because the prognosis for recovery is a lot better. The prognosis for many years to go with life is also a lot better, but she's definitely having a rough time. It was super hard for me to be home seeing my mom being sick, and I told her that. It was really, really hard. And yeah, I flew to Denmark, and we agreed that I had to take the train to the hospital in Roskilde because she was there to get the liquids out of her lungs. About every 2 to 3 days, she gets her right lung emptied for liquids, and with 2 to 3 days, they fill up with 2 to 2.5 liters of liquids, which is pretty close to, like, I don't know, a gallon or something like that. She's literally drowning if they don't empty these lungs because she can't breathe properly, which is logic. They suspect that it's the cancer that causes the lungs to fill up with liquid, and so that's defined. They just don't know what subtype of cancer it is. So when I was home, the plan was, like, I came home Tuesday, and the plan was that we were going to go to, oh no, Wednesday I came home, sorry. And the plan was that we had to go Friday to the hospital to see the breast region or upper torso region surgeon because they wanted to surgically remove a lymph node because she have had 3 biopsies and none of them has yielded conclusive results. The doctors have been quite optimistic when they took the biopsies. They found that they took good biopsies, but when they have grown them, so to say, they haven't yielded any concluding results. And that's why they want to remove a lymph node surgically. But they could see, to ensure that, they had to send my mom to CT scan, which she were Tuesday last week, so the day before I got home. Another completely other place in Denmark. It was a bit of a drive, but it did work out. And the CT scan showed that the lymph nodes, which she had in her right side, which I'm pointing to my right side, obviously, but the lymph nodes she's had here that was lighting up on those CT scans were not lighting up anymore. But they did see that she had lymph nodes in her throat region that would light up instead. So they cancelled the surgery, and instead we went to the hospital still to get her lumps emptied on the Friday. On Monday, on the day I traveled home, we went to Køge Hospital, which is where a specialist in the ear, nose, throat doctor, so to say, a surgeon had a look at her. They did an echo of her throat, and they actually couldn't see the lymph node that was highlighted on the CT scan, so they needed an MRI, which she had Wednesday this week. And Thursday, she was informed that the MRI was conclusive enough for her to undergo surgery. And they are going to remove a lymph node from her throat region somewhere to grow that, to find out what sort of lymphoma she has. As of recording this video, she is either in surgery or just gotten out of surgery. I don't know. So I don't know, have any updates on that yet. Hopefully next week we know what type of lymphoma she has and we can get a treatment plan for her. Obviously, I don't know how long time it takes to research the lymph node and get a conclusive answer on it. But the doctors all call her a bit of a mystery because it's been so difficult to get clear results. But there is zero doubt that she's sick. But if they don't have the right treatment put together for her, it's like they want to make sure it's working, which I totally understand. And that's also why they wanted to do these extra tests before they did the surgery, because it's not a surgery without risk. Not saying that doctors aren't good, but they just want to make sure that they do it for a reason and that the reason will yield results rather than it might yield results. So, you know, I like that they're trying to be secure about it. So that's the update. Currently waiting on hearing news, and as soon as we know more, I will be planning my next trip to Denmark to help my parents out however I can. If that is driving, just being there, making food, cleaning, whatever they need me to do, I'll do that. And that is also why a part-time job right now is the best rather than a full-time job. And obviously, ideally, if I can take the job with me on the go, because even if I am in Denmark and I have to work 4 hours in a day, I can easily find the time to work 4 hours in a day, opposed to 8, and still be helpful for my parents. So that is currently the ideal. If I could get that job, that would be amazing. And if I can't, something else will come along when the timing is right. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for your continued praise for my mom. I'm sure that it's helpful. Keep sending positive thoughts. That's the only thing I can ask for right now. She, on the other hand, is a very strong woman and she's still optimistic. And so am I. It's just really rough to see. It really is. And every time I say goodbye is also rough. Because there's just so much more uncertainty right now. But hopefully the doctors get the right results and we can get treatment started. And as the doctor said, lymphoma is not a death sentence. If they find the right cure, there's a still good chance that you can live many years to come. So let's hope. She's way too young for this. So thank you for watching. And sorry, I'm a little bit emotional, of course. Yeah, thank you for watching. Happy crafting, and I'll see you again.